This is Amazon Dynasty. Please like, share, and subscribe. Be kind, helpful, and grateful. Buy some silver, some platinum, some crystallized osmium. I am wondering if you people can even hear me. So I'm going to keep talking. I'm going to go to my studio, go to live, plug it in, and see if I can hear myself. Maybe that might work. Oh, I can hear myself. I can hear myself. That means you guys can hear me. Can you hear me? Holy shit. Well, this is funny as hell, Teresa. I don't have my show prepared to run. I don't have any videos up or anything. I was just trying past couple hours to see what the hell happened. Apparently, a cat decided to reprogram my computer by getting up here and typing stuff. Yeah, I can solve that. Uh-oh. You are correct. Nope. There it is. I'm just a little behind on this other one here. Let me go to the live stream. Okay, yeah. So yeah, everything's set. Cat decided to, type in some stuff. Cat language. I don't know cat language. I didn't know what cat did it, so I couldn't, interrogate them and get the passkey. So it took me a couple hours to figure out. Cats are smarter than you give them credit for. I'll tell you that right now. Basically, the premise of the story was over the past 1,500 years in Rome, in Europe during the Middle Ages, and up until the 16th and 17th century, spices, different types of spices, were worth more and traded instead of gold. So everyone says within the past 5,000 years, gold has always been money. True. But if you think like that, you're going to lose money economically, because during the, I think it was the 5th century in Rome, pepper by tonnage was worth more than gold. As a matter of fact, the Rome had to pay tribute of 3,000 pounds of pepper to a northern horde group that was invading them. 3,000 pounds of pepper, not gold, pepper, to a nation to not invade. That seems like it's got value if they chose that spice over gold. During the spice wars, 17th, 16th, 17th century, 200 years, saffron, peppermint, all, what was it? Again, I don't have the quiet, everyone hears you. Sorry, that was one of my cats. From like 17, 18, 16, 17, 1800s, spices were lavender. All these spices were more important and more valuable, ounce for ounce, than gold. I'm not saying gold's not valuable. Gold was valuable. What I'm trying to get across, hey, what's up, Mo? What I'm trying to get across is, in the whole 5,000 years, in the past 2,000 years, for 500 of the past 2,000 years, there were other products that came along that were more valuable than gold. Even though gold was valuable, gold, people don't want to kill me for this. What I'm trying to bring to your attention is, in different periods of time, there are things for short periods of time, 100 years or so, real short period of time, where there are assets out there more valuable than gold. That is how you accumulate wealth, by seeing these assets, seeing these economic changes. So, it's good to think that, only gold is money, because, yeah, sure, in a 5,000 year time frame, yes, gold is only money. But in the past 2,000 years, 25% of the past 2,000 years, spices were used as money in large transactions, not gold. And as far as that goes, in the last 1,500 years, 400 or 500 of those years, so 1/3 of 1,500 years, spices, ounce for ounce, were more important and more valuable than gold. And believe it or not, it was available for poor people to grow and trade because they could grow it. So that actually gave people who didn't have wealth an opportunity to gain wealth. Now, if you look at things from that perspective, and then you say, yeah, gold is money, But what can I do right now that's worth more than money? Look at your mushrooms. There's a lot of things out there worth quite a bit of money, mostly in the spice trade. You know, during I think the 1700s, don't quote me on this, we had Phoenician beads. The reason why Phoenician beads for about 50 or 60 years of human history in the past 400 years, for about 50 to 60 of those years, Phoenician beads, glass beads, were more valuable and used as money. How did that happen? A new technology came along in the time period where gold and silver were money, and people valued it more than gold and silver. And they gave the guy who invented glass blowing money because he made these little glass beads. So that guy got extremely wealthy for 50 to 60 years. He was accumulating all kinds of wealth. And where are those glass beads now? Yeah, who knows? The thing is, for the majority of our living lifetime, 60 years, someone was using glass as money. And everyone accepted it. The whole world accepted it. For 200 years, from the 17th and 18th century, you had spices that people would use before they take gold. Because you got to look at the geopolitical situation of anything at any time period. Most importantly, our time period, since we want to make money. And you see what's going on with other countries. And you see what goods and services, and that includes food stuff and other things. And you see what you could do that you can make money off of what they don't have. And if in my perspective, from my perspective, I believe we're in a time where new trade deals, and I said this about 2 years ago on a video, we're entering a time where new trade deals and agreements and tariffs will be the future of charts. Wow, we're there. Hey, Zardos. So look at things that you can do here. Because as we break apart from a global society with global money and global control and global everything, we're breaking back down, and I've said this in videos, and I've proven it in other videos that I've put out, that we're going back to a nationalist. Every country is Ireland's breaking apart from England, from EU. England wants to break apart from EU. Scotland already broke apart from EU. Italy's kicking out all their. I mean, there's a lot of nationalist pride coming back. When that happens, you lose a lot of the supply chain. It changes, basically. So certain countries won't be getting things as cheaply as they did because of new trade agreements, tariffs, all this other stuff. So that also brings lots of opportunity. Another example I wanted to bring to y'all, and I've done videos about this too, about a year and a half ago, about icebreakers and how I think Russia had 34. I was wrong, they have 38. For the first time in human history last year, this winter so far, was it last winter? Last winter, Russia kept the Northern Passage open through winter. Quiet. They kept the Northern Passage open through winter. You know how many ships went through that passage? Not that many, because it's a new passage. But you can save 30% by, and I've done videos on this, and I've shown maps and everything. You can save 30% of the Northern Passage. And I encourage America to start building icebreakers so we can take over the Canadian area to where you can go from the Pacific to Atlantic, to where we could get some of that. I told you people when Russia was, actually no, it was when America was rebuilding our World War II deepwater port up there in Alaska, in the Arctic. It's all for the Northern Passage to be open. And that leads us to China's collapse. Because if you take a look at the world map, for which I think I'll just go ahead and pull up a world map here. And I'll give you a little demonstration. Okay. If you are getting, let me go back here and do a share screen. How do I share screen on this one? Okay, there it is. Share screen. Google Map. Share. All right. If you want any product or goods or services from Africa. Over here in Kenya, around this area, there is a deep water port that China built. There's a deep water port somewhere down this area China built. There is a deep water port. Oh, here we are. Somewhere up in here, I believe somewhere in this area in Liberia. It could be in Togo or Lagos. Somewhere around here, they've got a deep water port. They put hundreds of billions of dollars into deep water ports so you could get goods and services from South America, from North America, straight over, and it go boom, 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 right? But see, if you open up, oh, you can't go to the north. This is a shitty map. This is the Northern Passage right here. This is the Pacific, Japan, everything. For Japan to get goods and services, and for the Philippines, and for China and Korea to get goods and services all the way to Africa, they got to go all the way down here, up around through here, come down, boom, and then they hit this area here. Or if you keep the Northern Passage open, they come out, they go straight up here, boom, 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 and come down on top of Africa. It's 30% shorter, uses a lot less fuel, a lot less insurance costs, a lot of other reasons. But this is the Northern Passage right here for Russia, right up here, this area. If they keep this open year round, because this is Alaska right here. See, now our Northern Passage is right through here that we can control, because this is Greenland over here. Newfoundland. This is, see, there's Greenland. This is our Northern Passage. This area through here that we can open and control to where we would have half of the world's, because right now, Russia's taking it. Sorry about that, I went to the wrong screen. And my cigarette went out. Who do we got here? Black screen, sorry about that. Are we back? What's up, Mike? Can you see me now? Okay. Yeah, apparently YouTube doesn't really like me sharing stuff. Anyhow, if you keep the Northern Passes open, all of the money that China put into the 3 deep water ports, which comes up to well over $1 trillion, like 1.6 trillion, did a video on it. They're not getting their money back because the Northern Passage means that those deep water ports are no longer relevant for nearly as much shipping. So they're not making the profit back, enough profit on those ports to be able to pay China back. So China defaulted on all of them. Over 1.6 trillion. They did it in 2024. No one kept an eye on it. Part of the China collapse that I keep talking about. Imagine if America defaulted on a $1.6 trillion loan. Defaulted? Yeah, now your economy, your economic mind starts rolling. Yeah, if we defaulted, you heard all these economists last year, America's going to default. Oh no, we're going to die. China did. This is Pumpkinhead. Pumpkinhead likes being on me. Oh, she's not. You go another way? Usually she likes facing towards the camera. No, working on it, bro. Hopefully if things work out well, by April, I'll be buying my company that I'm gonna open. Will be buying a house for me. I've been looking, and I've come to a conclusion. I need several acres. I was looking at 1 acre, thinking it might be enough. I need several acres, 5, 10 acres. So it lowers my perspectives down. But I'm going to have businesses in Northeast Alabama and Southern Alabama. So I got to be like kind of in between so I can shuttle back and forth, and it'll be like a 2 or 3 hour drive. Zardos, let's see what you got to say here. Okay, when China not gonna provide the standard of living? They're not. They haven't provided standard of living. Everything we get from China, break. See, this is the great thing. We think short term. Okay, China thinks long term. I'm going to ask you a question, Zardos. When you say, when's China not going to provide the standard of living? Well, let me ask you this. Ask your mom if her standard of living was better when we were buying American things. Because I remember refrigerators lasting for 30 years, cars lasting for 30 years. Everything you bought lasted a long time. Now I look at the Chinese buying shit, and I go back to your statement. When's China not going to provide the standard of living? Well, the standard of living now goes from you bought you got rid of your wife before you get your refrigerator broke up. I mean, the divorces now after 5 to 10 years, your refrigerator would work for 30. But because of the standard of living that China provides, it only lasts 5 years. How is that better? That's my question to you, Zardos. We accept it as better because we're more slave mentality. We have to spend to buy a new refrigerator every 5 years to keep China in money. That is the standard of living that China provided for us. That's really not a sustainable good one for long-term or short-term prosperity. That's why we're leaving it, and everyone's bitching. It's weird. Oh, Mo, you ain't kidding there, brah. There ain't no American going to Mali, Burkina Faso, or Niger. I said something, and I don't know if you guys heard it. It might have been in one of the reports where my audio didn't go through. Yeah, those 3 countries banned Americans from going to their country. Another geopolitical thing you need to look out for, because what that means is any American silver or gold mine, most especially gold mine, like the big #1 Barrick gold mine that has the largest amount of percentage-wise gold coming out of Burkina Faso, is no longer getting that gold because they got kicked out. Yeah, so prices are going to fluctuate big time. And it's not going to be because of supply and demand. Well, it's going to be arbitrage, supply and demand. We'll get the gold, but it's going to be through someone else mining it and then selling it to us. Yeah, it's not. You're right, Zardos. The refrigerator that lasts 30 years is not anymore. And you want to know why? Because we traded the American standard of living for a Chinese standard of living. And we started buying all of their products and we quit making American products. That's when we left being a manufacturing nation and we went to a consumer nation. Back around 1971 is when it really flipped the switch when we changed it to the fiat dollar, and the whole past 50 some years that we've been living has kind of been fake. We were a consumer nation. We're moving back to a manufacturing nation. Lots of prosperity to be had. Lots of prosperity to be had. I'm trying to open you guys' eyes up to see this so you can prepare and get a part of that money. Zardos, that's the reason why the Chinese airport is swarming with Chinese is because they're being kicked out. I've done several reports of this. The Zambezi River, I'm sure you've heard of it. A Chinese gold miner polluted it, and now the people of that country can't use it. So Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Botswana have already kicked out every fucking China person in their countries. I know they're only 3 of 57, but Nigeria is only 1 of 57. So just off the top of my head that I know of, 3/4 of Africa is kicking China out because of their illegal mining practices, their unsafe mining practices, and their treatment of the people they hire. All good reasons why to hate China if you're an American. The Africans are figuring it out. Hey, what's up, Jeff? Let's see. Oh, right on. Yeah, the taxes, regulations change. Regulations grow and shrink our economy. What's up, Maria? And you're right. Americans don't want to. It's a transitional phase. It's a separation of wheat and chaff. You're going to have a 20-year period where, dad didn't do well because he was a lazy ass son of a bitch, because he was raised in this period of consumption and not manufacturing and production. His kids are going to be very, very prosperous. Me, myself, I think I'm getting fucked because for 35 years I've been very productive and it's not paid well, but I was in the wrong economy, I guess. Now I'm going to early retire just as my shit should be kicking off because I don't want to work anymore. I think 35 years is long the fuck enough to be an iron worker. So screw everybody. No one wants to be an iron worker. That's fine. They're going to start paying. The more people don't want the job, the higher the pay will be. So get the skills. Wait a year or two. You'll get the money. Yeah, you have to wait a year or two, but that's what's going to happen. Hold on, wait. Unless there's a thing called the Shipbuilding Act that's getting pushed through and we start building ships all throughout America, then you're going to have work, good paying jobs real fast. As I said last year, V-shaped recovery, it's coming. Hey, what's up, JM? Yeah, this was actually just a test of the emergency broadcast system because I had lost audio on my first 3 attempts today. And I'm not on StreamYard because I wanted to make sure that the audio went through or else I'd have people up on stage. But yeah, that's the thing. Basically, out of the past 1,500 years, for 500 of those years, gold was not the most valuable money. Spices were. So 1 out of 3 chance that there's going to be something more valuable and used for money other than gold is the historical average of the past 1,500 years. So just not wanting to don't keep your blinders on about precious metals being the thing to be used. I'm collecting abalone shells. I'm just kidding. If there is a new technology comes out, you can possibly see a Phoenicia bead replay to where the new technology of glass blowing in the 1700s allowed these couple dudes to make these little glass beads. Everyone thought it was so special. They used it as money. So whoever was making those Venetian beads, they got rich. Technological advance caused that one. Spices and the availability of spices from one area of the world to another caused the other 450 years that gold was not as valuable as another commodity that was used as an exchange for goods and services. So 33% of the time of the past 1,500 years, something other than gold was more valuable for goods and services. So, and because of technology, about 60 of those years, there was a product out there that was more valuable than gold because of the technological advance of glass blowing. So when you look at new technologies coming out, you can anticipate, and I've said this before, the digital marketplace or the crypto marketplace will probably run the financial system for about 50 years. I don't like it. I don't dislike it. It's kind of historically what will happen. So like it or not, because you can't like or not like if you're going to make money. You got to get your feelings out of it. You got to look at facts. You got to look at historical norms, historical cycles, and where something like this would fit in historically. So I look at the crypto markets and I find this ISO and I see the government, all the governments of the world, including the BRICS governments, are going to use the ISO because it's a SWIFT 2.0 system. It's 100 cryptocurrencies that have been accepted through a compliancy system that all the countries agreed to use for transfer of high dollar, high value goods and services, just like the Venetian bead. A new technology comes along, everyone agrees to use it, it gets used. So there's a historical preference to be looked at for that scenario. And the historical preference of gold not being the means of transfer of wealth, it's there about 33% chance in the past 1,500 years. So now you got the new technologies and a 33% chance of something coming around that'll be more valuable than gold. Like it or not, it'll probably happen. So take feelings out of it, look at reality and look outside, look around. Do you like it? If you don't, look more realistic at your money and how you make it and how much of it you can make. Because again, in different times of periods of history, different things have more value than gold as money. Have you ever heard of pepper being money? It was. Pepper was money. Oh, I wish my first live stream worked. I had all the evidence on different tabs of places and all this other crap. I had it all lined up. There was a Viking country that attacked Rome, sacked it, wanted 300 tons of pepper in tribute, not gold. They conquered a lot of the Roman Empire and they didn't want gold. They wanted pepper. So my argument to you is, if a whole country destroys and sacks another country and agrees to stop for an asset, wouldn't that asset be worth more than gold to everyone who stayed alive because they had 300 tons of pepper? Yeah, pepper was money. I hate it for you. And it wasn't just a one-day thing. It was about 100 years it was very valuable. Just in that one point of history did another country conquer a majority of Rome and Italy and say, we ain't leaving unless you give us 300 tons of pepper, not gold. Not give us your gold and your silver, give us 300 tons of pepper. I bet gold bugs are freaking on that one. I would have taken the gold. No, you wouldn't have. Because in that time of history, pepper had more value. It's time in history. You cannot take our perception and change it to a different time period and say, well, my perception fit in that time period of that perception would work differently. Of course it would. Of course it would. You know what happened. Look future now and try and predict it. You can only go off of historical past actions and look at a probable future. Look around you at all things that are going on, geopolitical, technological, everything, innovations coming out. You look at everything going on, and you gotta perceive that there might be another point in time where something's going to be more valuable than gold for a certain period of time in history. And if you're in that asset class, you'll be wealthier. Will your grandkids use it? Fuck no. We don't use glass beads now. I go to the store, buy pepper for $4 a fucking pound. I mean, things change. That's where gold, on a majority part of history, does hold the value. But in specific parts of history, for a good long time period, 200 years, we had the spice wars going on around 200 years, where spices were more valuable, desired, wanted, and accumulated, stacked than gold and silver. No one even wanted gold and silver. They'd rather have saffron and pepper and all these other spices than gold for 200 years. That's like 4 lifetimes. See, we're only living one lifetime. So we're expanding our one lifetime into something that takes 4 lifetimes. Or it could possibly just take 1 lifetime. I think what we're going to experience is a 1 lifetime thing, which is the cryptocurrency and digital marketplace. And I believe we're doing that for a specific reason. And I know the reason, but I don't want to tell you guys because you're going to think I'm crazy. Salt was very important for thousands of years, probably as long as gold has been valuable. Salt was even close, but more valuable. I 100% agree, Chad. It's, currency versus money. Exactly, JM. And money is a socially developed thing. Currency is an accepted thing world round. That's why you have the Italian lira, the American dollar, the Scottish pound, the Zimbabwe note. They don't use the same money or currency, but it's all got the same money value when you turn the currency into money. That's accepted, like the ISO 222. When you take your currency and turn it into a money that's accepted worldwide. And that's why, again, look at the ISO. You look here in America and you see, well, look at the OCC. You're like, well, what's the OCC? It's the most important 3-letter agency you need to know about if you want to know anything about finances. It's the Office of the Currency Controller. It tells you what money is going to be and where it's going by their regulations. It always has. No one's heard of it because no one really knows about money out there. All your YouTubers out there, they don't know shit. They're just telling you what they see happening. If you look at the OCC, you'll know what's going to happen. You'll know what to look for, just that the other people will see. You'll know what to look for before they see it. Great financial advantage we had there. Oh, typos are nothing, man. You ought to hear my typos. Deja vu. XRP is part of the ISO 222. So yes, it is part of the financial exchange system that's going to replace the SWIFT system. And the BRICS countries will also use it. BRICS is only coming around, and I believe this is for societal reasons, to control a certain part of the world so that we can break apart the world into 2 to 3 sections so we can advance our civilization further along than we are right now. Or we'll go back into the dark ages or the middle age type thing, whichever you prefer, go in that direction. I'd like to think we're going to advance to a 1.0 society and have a cohesive world where we're not killing each other for resources, that we're actually working together for resources and getting the resources we need from outside this world and bringing them in so we can all live without wanting to kill each other and have everything we need. That's the society I want to live in. And if we don't get energy sources that can do that, we're not going to live there. That's why I say America is going to run the energy sector of the world, because the government told me. They told you as well, but you didn't know where to look for that report, and you probably weren't looking for that report. But the government told you that America is going to take over the energy industry and of the world. And that's when the Nuclear Regulatory Agency changed their regulations to where instead of taking 20 years to approve a nuclear site to be built, they took it from 20 years to 6 months overnight. So if you were a new guy who wanted to build a nuclear power plant, you'd walk in on Monday, they say, okay, yeah, come back and we'll have you ready in 20 years. And then you go in there on Tuesday and they're like, oh no, we'll have you done in 6 months. Here, let me hold your hand, walk you through the process. What's that tell you about the industry? America's going to be letting it fucking, they're cutting loose, baby. We're cutting loose on energy. We're holding companies' hands, making micronuclear and small modular reactors for public consumption. What's that going to do to the energy grid? Wow, it's going to leave a lot of extra energy on that grid that they need to get rid of, because we have way too much power sources that are going to have to be replaced once these come out. And there was another article I wanted to share with y'all. The Army has signed a contract with Nanonuclear Energy for their Kronos micronuclear reactor. They're buying, where I told you that OKLO had the Air Force in Alaska buying their first micronuclear reactor. Well, the Army has just signed a contract with NNE to buy their first Kronos, or small modular micro reactors, as soon as it's built, guaranteeing contractually they have to build it now. So it's going forward. And it's only taken 18 months. If America did not want to control the energy market of the world, it would take another 18 and a half years to get it through. And they're going to have this thing pumped out by the end of this year. See the difference? That's government encouraging sector growth. The sector they're encouraging to grow is the energy creation sector. How many countries in the world can make nuclear reactors? China, Russia, Iran, couple. Okay, how many can make micro and small nuclear reactors? Not much competition for us to wipe out to control the energy sector of the world. God bless America. Boy, we know how to play them fucking, what is that? Art of War, Sun Tzu. Ooh, yeah, put it to business. We know how to run. This has all been a setup. It's been planned. Again, if you look back at our whole growth, our industry growth, our whole change, our whole American way has been pre-planned. Sorry, it is what it is. We're supposed to have been a consumption nation so that other nations could get the money, because as a consumption nation, we are sending all of our money out and they're sending trash in. Well, that's unsustainable as a country, so it can't be sustained. So it's going to change at one point in time. We're at that point in time right now. When I was born, we were at the point in time of leaving a manufacturing nation, and that's Harley right there. We were leaving being a manufacturing nation, becoming a consumption nation. So I was born into the consumption experience, just like most of y'all. But I still see it and I accept it. We're going to be a manufacturing nation. We're going to make things that last. You're going to have well-paying jobs. It's going to be like that uncle you had that retired from AT&T and had that one hell of a killer retirement plan. That's coming. Mike, you're back. Deja vu. We're going to get the entire Western. And yeah, we're going to Greenland, Mexico. Let me hold off on that. Greenland and Canada. Greenland we're going to have by the end of 2026. It's going to be American, maybe 2027 later. Probably by 2030, quite a bit of Canada will probably be American. And we're going to be pushing, after we get rid of all the drug people. And oh, wait, that just happened yesterday. In Central America, you'll find the Mexican government's going to start falling apart because it's actually only a cartel government. So once they start losing their power, they're going to lose their power, and then people are going to start voting, and they're going to see how shitty a nation they actually have, and they're going to need help to advance, and they're going to have a chance to vote like Jamaica and all of the others to be a what is that called? What's Jamaica? It's a territory. They're gonna probably become a territory, so we can increase their standard of living. And after a little while, they're gonna love it so much they'll vote to become a state. So we'll consume them as well, probably by 2050. All of North and Central America will be America, and America will not be the America we know now because we'll have expanded so much. It'll have different rules, different laws, different governments set up, and it's planned. It's all planned. So I know it's going to happen. And I see the pathway that's going to take to get there. That's why when people were saying, well, Greenland's never going to be America, I was like, yeah, well, you know how little economic pressure we have to put on 3 or 4 key countries to have them push Denmark to sell us Greenland? I mean, I know how to do it. I dropped out of high school. If I was President Trump, I could do it in a heart. I had a couple phone calls. Boom, boom, boom. It's done. It's how it works. No, Greenland belongs to Denmark. Netherlands, I think it's called, but I think it's Denmark. Well, I just had this the other day. Is it Holland or Denmark? Man, I'm smoking too much weed. Now I got to check, make sure I'm right. Who owns Greenland? Yeah, it's Denmark. That's what I thought. I just had to make sure. Sorry, guys. Every now and then I got to make sure I'm not misleading or putting out lies. Chad, that's not going to happen for about 400 to 500 years, but by then we should have a lot of our social issues worked out to where the attitudes of people will be different and technology will definitely change that. Especially if we get a universal high basic income, you'll find crime is going to go the fuck away. So that's going to change the whole way of style. Oh, I don't know. We need to quit going there because I don't want to talk about San Francisco because that's more directly affecting to me. And then giving away $5 million to all the pre-slave people. There are no pre-slave people. And what about that? Anyhow, we don't need to go there. We need to talk about something else. But yeah, no, in 3, 4, 500 years, it'll be a lot easier to accomplish. And I'll pull from a Reagan speech. This one brought down the CCCP, known as the Soviet Union. It was a speech he gave, I believe it was in '84. I could be wrong. And he said something to the effect of, I wonder how quick we would become allies if there was an external force wanting to come control our world, or something those lines. And that in and of itself broke the Russian wall, but I think the German wall, the Berlin Wall, fell like within a year of that speech, maybe 2. So it's been proven that that tactic works. So within 300 to 400 years, if we actually do run into something out there, that changes all of humanity. We're no longer enemies. We'll be loving neighbors at that point in time. So, you know, just like we can't say, you take Plato, what, 2003, 2006, 2,800 years ago, his world that he wrote about was maybe 500 miles, 1,000 miles in each direction because he couldn't go any further in his lifetime. And he damn sure couldn't swim across the Pacific, and they didn't have boats that could do it, or else he'd have wrote about it. So you got to take things in context. That's what I'm saying. And their lifestyle, they believed in all kinds of crazy shit back then because they didn't know any better. Because they were only contained to a small area and their world was small. As your world grows, your knowledge grows, things change. That's all I'm saying. And I have great hopes that in society that as we determine that we're stupid and we need to quit being stupid, we'll get along and everything will go just fine. We just got to get over being stupid, and that, you know, that's what we're working through right now. Oh no, Zardos, yeah, all of North American continent. One probably within 200 years to 300 years, all of the Americas will be one. The American continent will be one country. Greenland, Canada, America, Mexico, all Brazil, Chile, Peru, Argentina, all of them, will all be one government. Because if you have that tax base of the whole continent, imagine your achievements. Yeah, the British Empire fell in World War II, and we just crushed them last year from financial control over America. That's another thing I say. Things are changing, and people don't understand. They had, I mean, if you know anything about World War II, if you want to know about slavery, look at World War II and what the English General Montgomery did to our army. Sent them in knowing they would die because he just wanted to deploy his plan and not some other plan that would be better. He wanted them to die under his name. Is that not slavery? There's so many of his plans killed so many tens of thousands of Americans when he was in charge, and he did it intentionally. He made those plans intentionally. He knew better because he wasn't dying. It was us that were dying. It was his slaves that were dying. The plan would be successful and it would all be great for him if his slaves just died by the tens of thousands. Well, the American army was his slaves. So your grandfather, if you're old enough, or your great-grandfather, if you're young enough, if he was in World War II and he was not on the Japanese side, he was on the European side from the start of the war till about 1944, mid-1944, yeah, you were looked at as a slave that could be slaughtered for the greater English Empire. Read history. Find out the truth, folks. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Well, if you want to make money, Deja Vu, you can make money by buying platinum and buying silver. Don't buy gold. Buy platinum, buy silver. Even though it's high price right now, silver, still buy it. It'll go up a lot higher. Platinum, good deal. Buy Clean Air Metals, CLRMF, the only newest platinum mine that'll be opening by the end of 2027. They'll be pulling ore out of the ground, which is going to cause their stocks to go through the roof, and they'll be paying dividends for about 5 years. Then you sell that stock and you walk away a millionaire. Other stocks too. I had mentioned NewScale on 2 days ago in a live stream I did. I suggested I'm going to look at them and see if I would give some good advice on picking them up or not. And I suggest picking up some because I think they're going to go back up, and you could really 4 to 5x your money if you picked up that one up. But the other calls I've made on like NNE and OKLO, you'd be in the money. A good call here. Look at your marijuana stocks. Money's fixing to flow into the marijuana industry, industrial and medical. So look at stocks that'll will be flooded with money, rising the market cap. Because as the market cap rises, the stock price rises. And as Trump just signed an executive order, we have 3 generations of people alive in America. Your grandmother, your mother and father, your kids, they all wanted legalized weed. We just got it. There's going to be more money funding into that than into crypto or into precious metals markets. So place your money appropriately, and you'll make good money within 2 years in that sector. Hey, what's up, Sam Gloves? I imagine if you invest in gloves with glove technology, you could probably make money in gloves too. I know in the 70s and 80s, people were making money off of pork belly futures. Lots of money. So you can make money at anything if you're an expert in your field. Gloves like these ones. Or, hold on a second. gloves like these ones? Damn. My work gloves and my welding gloves are out in the car. Yes, Sam Gloves. I have all kinds of gloves. I am a certified safety coordinator. I got all kinds of gloves. I got those ones that catch on fire when you weld, the little cloth ones with the cotton inside. Horrible on job sites. I like the leather ones, but companies don't pay for those. And also, if you heat them up, you get hit by a torch and you're wearing a leather glove. Woo! That's a ruined leather glove, man. You don't want to wear it no more because the heat warps the leather. And then you got the big welding gloves that you can't turn a bolt on. And then you got that little plastic glove that I showed you. And then you got the little surgical gloves. Plastic gloves don't keep your hands warm. They don't keep anything off, but they force you to wear them on job sites for some reason. They do absolutely no good. Know a lot about gloves. Obviously, you're in the glove industry. Hey, what's up, Hager? Oh, and Happy New Year's to everyone. Yeah, everyone misses old days, Zardos, excuse me. Disposable gloves you have, you wear, keep both your hands. No, I'm not going to wear gloves because I'll light up cigarettes. I'll smoke my bowl. I need bare hands to be able to make this Bic go. So that way I can do this number. Can't do that with gloves on. Can't turn a bolt with gloves on. I can't hardly do any of my work as an iron worker with gloves on. I can, but it'll take a lot longer and it'll be a lot more frustrating. And I'm into neither of those two things. I like getting things done. I usually get in trouble for not having gloves on, actually, even though I am a trained safety coordinator. I know it sucks, but whatever. I've never been paid as a safety coordinator. I do have the training. But I'm going from ironwork into jewelry. Imagine that. Be making jewelry. That's when all the girls are going to come around. What? He's making jewelry? I need to get to know him. And here's Gandalf. Get away, Gandalf. And that's a good thing. I am also not a slave to the system. That's why I have not worked. Because all during the COVID shit, I refused to wear a mask. I refused to stay 6 foot away. I refused everything they said. And because of it, I didn't get a job. So yeah, I'm with you on that one. Gerald in here? Hey, what's up, Gerald? Yeah, Ninja was talking about that one. Attacks on silver eagles and gold eagles. For all you stackers, man, I didn't want to talk about that. But yeah, you just got trapped. Now you have an asset that you're going to get taxed on. Go team. Yeah, it is crazy, but it is what it is. It's cyclical. The government wants money. Watch out. That's why you need to look out for tax advantages, for which Ninja's talking about. If you get a hold of his program, you probably save a lot of money in taxes. And that's why he's pushing his program right now, because he knew that the government was going to change the tax system on precious metals and other things. Again, he probably knew that new trade agreements and tariffs were coming along, and that also changes the tax infrastructure. Again, our government told us all this in advance, and we all knew about it way in advance. At least I did. I'm a high school dropout. I told you guys about it because I remember doing a video on it. Just no one took me seriously because at the time, we thought the crazy that was as far as the crazy was going. And I was like, oh, hell no, we got a long ways to go. We got a long ways to go. More crazy coming, dude. More crazy coming. Then it'll be okay. You are lucky, Chad. Every piece of freaking gold or silver or platinum I've sold, I had to pay tax on. It sucks. I cannot do that, Sam. Sorry. This, yeah, it's not this kind of show. If you can't stay because I don't have the gloves, have a good one. True that, Deja Vu. I actually had a lot of problems dealing with my bank and cash. Imagine that. And see, Zardos, the government wants your money. You're right, 100% correct. This government that we have now doesn't want your money. They want someone else's money. So let's not fight them. Let's get on board with tariffs, because you know what? We don't pay tariffs. We have been paying tariffs for our whole lifetimes. We've been paying tariffs because, well, we're a consumer nation. That means we pay other people's taxes when we buy their goods and products. To turn that around, you charge them tariffs. They pay the tax for your goods and services. That's how it works. For the past 55 years, we've been surplusing the whole fucking world with our dollars. And every American's not upset about it. They like it. They want to keep funding the world. McFly, wake up, people. Get tariffs in there. Get rid of income tax. Hey, you know what? Good things happen if you get rid of income tax. The Federal Reserve goes away because income tax funds the Federal Reserve and our debt. It'll all go away. Whew. Yeah, support tariffs. That's other countries paying for our goods and services. And for that to happen, we got to have goods and services to sell. And if you're getting $22.5 trillion of investments from other countries and companies into your economy for manufacturing, you're going to be producing shit. Your money from tariffs is going to go through the roof. You'll need no income tax. You'll need no Federal Reserve, and you'll get a new dollar. But for that to happen, this dollar's got to crash. Welcome to what's happening. You figured it out, Zardos. You figured it out. Yeah, we don't have to pay any of those IOUs, Deja Vu. The guy we're going to have in jail is going to have to pay those ones. Yeah, we're going to get a physical bill alongside the digital bill. And that's the change. That's like the Phoenician bead of the 1700s is the digital dollar. It won't be around for 100 years or 1,000 years. About 50 years of our time period till our economy and countries and everything else manipulates and changes to its next level. Then we'll switch up to fit that criteria. But right now, digital is the thing. And I'll let y'all know, I'm going to give you a little conspiracy here. The reason why everyone, in my opinion, should support digital is because I have talked about this my whole video screen career, 3.5 years. We sent a probe to the asteroid belt to check out this one asteroid called Psyche 16. Psyche 16 is supposed to be worth $770 quadrillion worth of precious metals. No big deal. I know it's you can't get the cat. You can't physically. Here's the key. You can't physically get it down. It takes 6 years to bring back just part of it, right? But what you can do is you can claim ownership of it, and through a digital banking system and international laws that were already passed in 2024 and 2019, you can claim ownership of that rock and own the digital assets that it holds, transfer it down to your country, enrich your people, give them the money they need, and some of them will do what needs to be done to extend and expand space flight, travel, and mining to get you out there to actually get you the physical. And for that, you need about a 50-year time period of a digital currency. Did I just project the next 50, 60 years of America? Yes, I just did. I just told you what's going to happen. Remote jobs. You want remote jobs? hop on your PlayStation, start mining the moon. You're going to do it from mom's basement while eating tortilla pizza rolls. Well, you need to check it out, Zardos. Hey, I use debit cards, man. I'm old school. There's a lot of history to Venezuela for the fall and the way it went. Here's another good thing. What happens if the Shah takes over Iran? Holy shit. I might have to go over there to their drive-in theaters and start watching movies. Fuck, they're going to get all kinds of civilizing shit like they were in the 60s and 50s and early 70s until Carter came along. Yeah, good old Carter. Yeah. Delta Force, poor guys. Anyhow, that's another story. Yeah, what happens? Let's see. If the Shah of Iran gets back in control of Iran, remember this name. Mohammed Ali Indir will be the president of Libya. No shit. He's a good friend of mine. I've been waiting for this for 15 years. It's called long-term planning, people. I made a deal with the future president of Libya that when his country became liberated from ISIS, for which, by the way, thank you, Donald J. Trump, just attacked Nigeria to get rid of ISIS, to kill all of them. It was on Christmas. I had that too. Gosh, diggity dag nabbit. Yeah, wish my audio worked earlier in the day. I had a video of that, of him giving Christmas card message to the ISIS members in Nigeria that we sent bombers to go kill. He gave him a Christmas message. So Nigeria is getting ISIS kicked out. The Sahel region of Niger, not Nigeria, Niger, and Burkina Faso have been fighting to get ISIS out. That's pushing them towards Libya. Libya's been pushing them out. So eventually they're going to get squeezed, and it's the tactical move of that. It's called the pincer move. The pincer move is when you've got all sides covered and you're coming in on them, and they've only got one way to run, but they really can't run that way because it's like desert and no one's there. So within 2 years, ISIS is probably going to be a not talked about thing. Libya is going to actually probably have some elections and some freedom from the oppression they're under. And when that happens, I have a business scheme worked with the guy who should be president to work on his coastline to develop it with one of my plans for a house building that I have had for fucking 20 years. Real money goes to people who plan in decades, not weeks or days or seconds. You get your money fast, you lose it fast. Yes, they will, Haggart. I 100% agree. As well they should be, because Arabs are not Islamic. You have Arab Buddhists, Arab Hindus, Arab Christians, Arab Jews. See, people are real confused when it comes to the Middle East and the differentials. And we use similar words to group them all together. It's not like that if you go over there. I was really excited, Zardos, as far as Libya, since you were wondering how it's going there. They discovered the continent of Africa's largest freshwater reservoir in the southern desert of Libya 2 years ago. As soon as that area becomes ISIS and terrorist free, they will be able to build a great civilization. They will have water galore in Libya. All they got to do is pipe it to wherever they want to build a city, and that city will be successful as long as it has water. Kind of like Vegas. Right now, Vegas doesn't have water. Look at it. You see the streets of Vegas, it's barren. No one's there. But yet it was a great big city. Yeah, as long as you have water, you can build a great civilization. Libya has sitting on the largest freshwater reservoir on the African continent. They found it last year or 2 years ago, and they're going to be tapping into it, building a great civilization. And I already talked to the hopeful future president. Actually, he is, because it's his family. Gaddafi killed his uncle before he took the fucking country over. And then America pulled the rest of his country, sent him up to Washington State, and about 8 years ago, sent him back to Libya to start doing paperwork transfers of ownerships of properties in Libya, taking it back from the Gaddafi regime, putting it back in his family's name. So as soon as they get a legal government, if you think the Shah of Iran is going to be powerful, if you think the King of Saudi Arabia is powerful, the president of Libya is going to be pretty damn powerful, especially if he has all the water. Because what do you want in the desert? Hold on. There's something more important, more special, and has more value than gold. Water. And to quote George Bush Jr., water is going to be more expensive than gas. That's why they bought the second largest reservoir in South America of fresh water back in the late 80s, early 90s. It's in Peru, I believe. Yeah, the Bush family owns it. Yeah, I know a lot of shit. If you wanted long-term investments, invest in freshwater reserves that can't get fucked with by the same Bush family oil company that does fracking that guarantees the destruction of underwater reservoirs. Wow, so they can control a reservoir and they control the oil companies that destroy the reservoirs. I wonder what they're planning. Dun dun dun. That's a no-brainer. It's going to take about 50 years to play out. You think about it, think ahead, you can plan. Your family will be wealthy and safe and secure for fucking hundreds of years. Just got to think about it differently. Don't think about days, hours, weeks, minutes, seconds. Like I said, I got to know Muhammad Ali and Deer when he was up in Washington State 15 years ago. I developed that relationship. That's the key to success. Develop relationships. And as a young man, child, I went to some unique schools and I met some very interesting people and I made some good relationships. And they just happened to pan the fuck out. What can I say? I'm a lucky guy. It's all because I was poor living in Europe. Not that lucky, but I took great advantage of it and I made relationships as a young child. And people remembered me. I'm very memorable. No one who knows me will say otherwise. Probably not in a good way, but everyone makes money who's around me, so it's, whatever. Anyhow, back to whatever we were talking about before I started talking about Zardos, to Zardos, about Libya. Oh, dude, Persia. Oh, I can't wait for Iran to go back to what it was, what it is, what was taken from Iran. I can't wait for it to come back. You know, all the archaeological people that are going to move over to Iran, all the schools that are going to have people over there, students over there doing archaeology, if that place opens up. Man. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of discoveries in Iran once the Shah gets back in power. So, hey, now there's another thing you can invest in. Whatever industry the archaeologists use when they make discoveries, I'm sure there's got to be industries that they make money, that makes money when they discover things. That industry is going to make money when Iran gets a democratic government back. Because companies will be able to go there and make discoveries. Companies go in there, people make universities go there with their little professors. They make discoveries. There's money there. Always has been. Get into that. Hey, thanks, Zardos. Yeah, up the likes. There's only 8 people here and 9 likes. We should have 50 by now. No, we had 10. That's a good thing. But yeah, this is my 4th attempt. I didn't have any freaking videos set up like I did on the first several attempts. I really had that one going on. I was going to bring you all kinds of proof and shit like that of what I'm saying. But this was test number 4, and I didn't expect it to work. But then Teresa came in and said, hey, I can hear you. I said, holy shit. The 2 hours of work I did on my computer actually worked. Because even though I'm stupid on computer, someone who knew about it probably would have fixed it in like 2 seconds. It took me 2 hours. Yeah, audio is good now, but the first 3 times no one could hear me, and I was talking, I was changing screens, showing where what I was talking about, and how other people agreed with me, and they put out articles saying pretty much the same thing or in line with. And yeah, no, this one was just test number 4, as it's labeled, because I didn't anticipate the audio to work. I didn't think I'd be lucky enough to be able to fix my audio problems. Yeah, Chad, indeed. I think that's why they cut off the southern part of Grand Canyon. I could be wrong. Might not be. You can't fly a plane or a drone in certain areas of the southern Grand Canyon area for some reason, even though there's nothing there. What? There's nothing there. The government says there's nothing there, but you can't fly there, you can't go there, you can't hike there, you can't go through the river there, you can't do shit there. Why? Not enough people in powers or positions of power to answer those questions that need to be answered. Because having said that, I actually saw a map one time. They actually have rock formations in the southern part of the Grand Canyon, known as, and they're like Isis, Osiris, all the Egyptian names. All these rock things in the southern part of the freaking Grand Canyon have all these Egyptian god names. It's fucking weird. Until you do a little more research and find out the truth you've been told ain't really the truth. Yes, the economic ninja. He let you guys know the other day about that tax on silver and gold. Eagles at that. Yeah, Chad. And like you said, there's lots of artifacts there. Deja vu, you would love the Isle of, what is it? Orkney Isle. That's just my family has had some land there. They ran LiDAR when LiDAR first came out over, I think it's Orkney Isle. It could be Shetland Isles. I think it's Orkney. Don't hold me to it. They did LiDAR over the island, and they quit before they got all of the results in because they found so many archaeological sites. They said they'd be busy for the next 100 years, and they already had like 8 universities in this small island doing archaeology. So yeah, there's shitloads of archaeology. Oh man, humans have been here so long, dude. We just need an idea of what to look for, and then the technology to find it. And just like LiDAR discovered that the Amazon rainforest, the heritage site, yeah, 2,000 years ago, it wasn't a rainforest. It was a huge fucking city of Aztecian, Inca, whatever. Huge city, massive city, bigger than every city today combined, pretty much. All covered up by trees. Why was it made a National Heritage Site? Who determined that? Did they have alternative motives to cover up our history? Could be possible. Yeah, so I mean, there's lots of things out there. History's a good thing to know. You ought to do it, Chad. If it's in your area and you have access to a bulldozer, man, actually, what I would suggest first is run a LiDAR over that whole area so you buy the right one. Because using LiDAR, it'll tell you where the old footsteps and paths were and which one is more heavily used. And you get the ones that weren't as heavily used. And there you go, Chad. Make sure to try and videotape all of your shit that you find for archaeological reasons. Some of the shit you find might be worth something to a university or college's archaeological division. All right, peeps. That's my long cough. Right on, Jay. At least you're going for it, man. You're moving forward on that idea, and that's a good thing, brother. I encourage everyone doing what they want to do. Do the research on it and go for it, man. Don't let anyone talk you out of it unless it has to do with stuff that might kill you. In which case, it should be no problem, Chad. But anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and end this one because I had nothing prepared. And tomorrow I'll do a live stream. I'll be on StreamYard where people can come up on the panel, and I'll have videos and other information to validate my statements as far as what country it was that Rome paid tribute to, and Pepper, what countries were in control of the world during the 17th, 18th century because they owned spice, not gold, and stuff like that. And I'll have the dates and the countries, and I'll have more specific information for you. But that'll be tomorrow. As far as right now, I appreciate everyone coming in. Sorry, Sean. Yeah, okay. Well, if you were here, I appreciate you finally saying something and speaking up in the chat there so we can talk to you. I'm going to take off. I appreciate each and every one of you. Tomorrow, I'll have a more comprehensive, thorough live stream for you guys, so you can, what do you call those, cliff notes. You can go research on your own. I'll talk to you later. Have a great day.